And joining us right now on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, it is my great joy, I kid you not, to welcome in first-time guest of the show from the Carolina Panthers. More importantly, the Temple Owls. More importantly than that, the Archbishop Wood Vikings, baby. Colin Thompson joins us. Colin, what's going on, brother?
Mark, it's great to be here. We do have a lot of things in common, that's for sure. A lot of similar paths, especially in our younger lives, and appreciate you having me on, man. Awesome to be on your show.
It's great to have you. You and I have spoken on a personal basis a couple of times, and to get you on the show is a great thrill for me. And to get somebody, yes, like you said, the similar backgrounds in terms of I played 1 year of freshman football. I never played at Temple, although I did. I was like the guy that threw out shirts at the Temple football game, so there was that. And then obviously you gone to a great career in the NFL here. When you think about your time here in the Philadelphia area, obviously you're from the Philadelphia area. Like, what do you think about? What do you first go back to when you think about your youth in this area?
Well, still live in the area. I live in Cape May, New Jersey now. That's where we call home. And it's an amazing place to grow up. When we go back to Bucks County, where I grew up in Doylestown, and, my mom, operated, owned stores for 30 years in Peddler's Village right there. And, all different kinds. She's still in business there. So I think about a lot of our times growing up there, the holidays in Peddler's Village, the summers down the shore. I think about, traveling just in that area and all the awesome things that we get to do and have to, to get to kind of enjoy going to sporting events. I really didn't know a lot about the city until I went to Temple. As a kid, we bypassed it on the way to going to Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, and Eagles games. Mm-hmm. So, I was just very, very, very lucky to grow up where I grew up. Extremely blessed to have parents that were two business owners in Doylestown, Bucks County area. Now my mom, has stores. She owns the Original Fudge Kitchen down the shore now. She has, 10, 15 different retail stores all the way from Cape May, New Jersey to Princeton to Peddler's Village, like we spoke about earlier, Doylestown. So that's what I think about is kind of growing up. I lived in 14 different houses, all within like 5 miles. My parents are very business-centric people, and that's how we did it. So it was a unique childhood. I was very blessed to be able to grow up, like I said, and a lot of great memories, helping mom, carrying boxes around and shoveling snow in front of the stores and turning the lights on in Peddler's Village during the holidays. So it was a very great childhood. And then going to Archbishop Wood, you can't beat it.
Oh, of course. Now I have to say this. I was reading up on you because I just like to always make sure I know what have something special to ask a guest here. Yes, here. Is it true your mom owned a lingerie store?
Yeah, she still does. She has Les Silhouettes Lingerie.
Ooh.
In 30 years. She's been going, 30 plus. And she's a machine, man. She's a workaholic. And someone she's almost 25 years now. 35 years. She's a grinder. She started young, didn't go to college, went to Penridge High School, didn't go to college, went to New York City, really get her education and was working in sales and, taking the train from Trenton every day from Bucks County and working her way up and then started her own company. And now she's killing it. She probably has, can't keep track of her stores, 12 different retail stores. They're all different. I would say a handful of them are lingerie, pajama, intimate apparel, Uggs, slippers, robes. So great for the holidays, great for Valentine's Day, but awesome stuff. Like every year as a kid and Christmas, we'd come home, mom would come home Christmas Eve, working her, her tail off because Christmas Eve is a big day for that, obviously. And she would always come home with pajamas and boxes. So that's like a tradition in our family. On Christmas, we always open up pajamas the night before. We wear the pajamas Christmas Day, throughout the whole event. So yeah, man, she does. She owns a lingerie store and she's got one in Cape May, one in Princeton, and one in Peddler's Village.
Go ahead. Say the name one more time.
So it's Les Silhouettes Lingerie, and then she owns Cotton Company in Cape May, New Jersey, which is another big one. Sunflowers in Cape May, New Jersey. She has those same stores up in Peddler's Village, Village Outfitters there. So she's got a little mini empire she's building, man. She's a badass. We got a great family. We're lucky to have it. My dad's involved, mom involved, my brother's really involved. So it's been fun.
Well, as they say, the apple does not fall far from the tree. You go undrafted in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. You go to the Giants. Things don't work out. You bounce around a little bit, and then you land with the Panthers, and you get your first touchdown reception last year as a member of the Carolina Panthers, still with the organization now. What has your ride been like, and how hard have you had to work to get to where you are right now?
Just playing the long game, Mark. That's how I've always thought about it. People are like, what are you thinking about in the moment? I'm just, what's next? What's next? What are we doing? What's the next thing I can get involved in? What's the next thing I can do to keep my mind busy? How can I continue to train and have a life a profession, a relationship. My wife and I were to long distance for 8 years. Now we're married and living together. That's a struggle in itself. We met at University of Florida. Then I went to Temple. Then I was with the Giants, emergency appendectomy, got cut from there, then to Chicago, and then two years out of football completely, where I was taking the train to and from Temple 4 or 5 days a week, and then traveling with the train and work out and create a really NFL-like schedule there where I was constantly training, watching film with all that staff. So shout out to Jeff Collins and their staff. They opened the doors of former players like myself. I'm not in the building without them. I'm not playing in the NFL today without them. And then I'd come back, say around midday, because I take the first train out in the morning, one of them. And then I would run the marketing for my mom's company for her store, Fox and Holly, which was in Doylestown. Now it's back in Peddlers Village. I'd run the marketing for that. I worked for a finance company. I started 2 podcasts. I did all the play-by-play. I did all the color commentary for 97.5 The Fanatic in Philly, really for Temple football, but for Learfield, but we was always on 97.5. So I did color commentary for Temple football games for 3 years with Harry Donahue and Paul Palmer, Hall of Famers. That was an unbelievable experience. So I was just saying yes to as many things as I could. I was coaching football, which I still do at Lower Cape May High School in Cape May, New Jersey. So just keeping all the
is that all? Is that all?
Yeah, man. So just keeping all the burners rolling, doing Eagles Sunday pregame show for 97.3 ESPN, and then did a Sunday Monday night football countdown show. I got to work with people like Tony Bruno and John McMullen and a lot of big names. So I've had a lot of great experiences working in the radio, media, television business, all in just our area. So it's been a grind. It's been a journey to get back to where I was. And then after all that kind of ended, I was at the Guinness factory in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm sitting there and having some beers, and it's cold, rainy February. And we had a hell of a night the night before in Annapolis. And I think it was one of the holidays there in February or March. I forget. I don't know the order. But I got a text from a buddy who was a recruiting coordinator of Florida way back when I was at UF, before I broke my foot and got medically disqualified. And he's like, "Are you in shape?" And I'm like, "Well, three beers in, of course I'm in great shape."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Amazing shape. I'm ready to go. What's up? He's like, "I'm with the Birmingham Iron. We don't have any tight ends." So boom, I flew down 2 days later, won the workout, signed with Birmingham, played 6 games. And
that was the Alliance, right? That's the Alliance?
The Alliance of the American Football League. Yep. And then that folded because of financial problems. And then from a connection I made with Birmingham, he pounded the table for me to get to the XFL. I had workouts with New Orleans and Detroit between that, then get to they didn't sign me. I went to the XFL, and kind of the rest is history. I played a couple games there, 6 games there, I believe, as well, or 4 games, I forget what it was. And then the league shut down because of COVID. Full circle, kind of built myself physically back up through the COVID, took the break I needed, and then boom, made a push. And now 3 years later, I'm still in the NFL. So it's been a hell of a journey. I try to tell it as fast as I could with some good detail. Good thing we're not on radio, Mark. We'd already be cutting the break. I'd be done.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the internet. I'd be like, all right, we got to go to the commercial. That's amazing. That really is amazing. And then in the meantime, I wanted to make sure I show people your Twitter profile, but mainly for this reason. Not for Long Media. You had told me about this some time ago, and it's really an incredible concept. What are you trying to do with Not for Long Media?
Yeah, so I got cut from the New York Giants, and it was funny. I was actually in Ventresca's in Doylestown, and Frank, who used to fit all the Eagles, and he still does the Kansas City Chiefs and the Ravens, and you're from Bucks County. You go get your you get your suits there.
All my proms, Ventresca's.
Ventresca's, exactly. So I'm at Ventresca's, and Frank's like, Colin, the NFL stands for Not for Long. And this is when I was like hobbled over with an appendectomy, and I'm like, that's well said, Frank. There's the name of my podcast. So I changed it from Not for Long Podcast to Not for Long Media. Mm-hmm. And we're a media company now. I like to say we are. And Not for Long Media is my actual podcast. And then we're just bringing on other podcasts underneath of us. So we have Breaking Bats, which shot up all the Brian O'Grady, Archbishop Wood graduate's a host. He's playing in Japan this year. Brian played for the Cincinnati Reds, the Rays, and recently with the Padres. Due to the lockout and some other things, he bounced over to Japan for a year. He's going to come back, hopefully, with a little bit better stature in the league, MLB. But yeah, he started Breaking Bats, our podcast, with us, and it's taken off. It's top 15 baseball podcast in the country at one point in time. After like 2 or 3 episodes, I think we're 4 episodes in. So Brian's absolutely killing it. He's got great guests, Tatis Jr., Adam Jones, just studs. Musgrove, the pitcher for the Padres. So that's fun. And then we're adding 2 other podcasts here on the horizon. I can't really talk about them yet, but they're in the make. So essentially a media company. We're inheriting podcasts. We're inheriting, just talent and good people. I got a great team that support us all, that are just awesome, hardworking people. So it's been a blast, man. And just kind of doing it. I was doing 2 episodes a week during the season. Wow. And it's been a grind, but it's been fun. It's a good, release for me. And I always say, just sacrifice 1 or 2, Netflix TV shows a season, and you'll be okay. You can actually do it. You can do it. You don't have to get it. You don't have to watch Game of Thrones every night. You could just maybe do like 45 minutes of some podcasting.
Yeah, no Ozark. You're out on Ozark. Just work. Yeah, there you go.
Just work and then get in bed and then, buy ESPN Plus and watch the back end of the Flyers games in the 3rd period and then go to bed.
Yeah, it's just enough to watch them blow it, and then you fight through it. So are you just, at this point, I know a lot of people in the NFL try to compete with other people in the NFL. Are you just trying to compete with your mom to like how many jobs you can have? And if so, who's winning?
Mom's always winning. And that's for sure. And that's not just because she's my mom. She's always winning. Real estate. I mean, if you ask any of your employees, you're going to get a text from Karen, an email, 3, 4 in the morning. She's a workaholic. She comes from a family of one, and
my
it's
goodness,
in a good way possible, man. She's a beast. She's up and back from the shore all summer long. She's grinding. She's an unbelievable, business owner, entrepreneur. Like I said, I have 2 parents that are both entrepreneurs. I always talk about our kitchen table as kids and the conversation about real estate and mortgages and paying cash and just different things. And hey, how was your school today? And obviously we threw sports in there. My brother works for my mom full time now, so. Yeah, it's a family business, but it's been unbelievably fun, and yeah, Karen's always doing more than me.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. One of the reasons, obviously, we wanted to talk to you, aside from your amazing career and so many endeavors that you're pursuing, which is awesome. We couldn't be happier for you. A local guy done great with a great story like yourself. Another local guy took headlines yesterday. At the time we aired this yesterday, Haason Reddick, your teammate at Temple University, your teammate, obviously, with the Carolina Panthers. What can you tell me and what the Eagles are getting right now in this linebacker and edge rusher in Haason Reddick?
Well, I'll talk about the player in a second. I'm going to talk about the person first. And I've been able to play against Haason, get to know Haason, be a mutual leader on the team with Haason in Temple. He was a big leader for us in Carolina. I wish I could say I was. I think I was in a quieter way, a little bit different way. Not that he's loud, but he's a Pro Bowler. I was not a Pro Bowler. That's what I mean by that. So the personal level, Haason walked on to Temple University. He played 4 games his senior year in Camden. I think he went to Camden High. And Coach Rule, offered him a walk-on spot, which means you have to pay for your college. His mom took out a loan to pay for his meal plan so he could eat with the team. Stuff that we probably all take advantage for, the training table, which is like all you can eat buffets and whatever you want, really, for dinner, to-go boxes, whatever you need to gain weight, you can do it. So Haasan's mom takes out a loan. He works his way through the program, ends up on scholarship. And, I think his senior year, Haason probably would have been a mid-round pick. This is a guy that started at defensive back, played safety, played linebacker, and then moved to defensive end his senior year. So this isn't like your edge rusher here who only knows one position. Haason has literally played everything. So then Haason comes his senior year. He's a mid-round pick. He has a great championship game for us against Navy at a huge pick, gets invited to the Senior Bowl, goes to the Senior Bowl as like an inside backer, edge rusher. Like, what is he? And bears it up, covers every running back, every tight end, beats all the tackles and edge rush moves and whatever it is, can stop the run. So he goes from a 4th round pick to, I think he was the 11th pick to Arizona. Mm-hmm. And right on the steps of the museum in Philly, he gets drafted at the height of Temple football, right after Coach Rule left to go to Baylor, and right before
the Eagles selected, I think it was Derek Barnett.
Correct, who's still a great player. Mm-hmm. People trash Derek, they shouldn't.
Okay,
he's a good player.
If you're telling me, I'll take your word for it. Absolutely,
he made me look like shit this year, but everyone else, you're good. You're good. No, he's a good. I like Derek. I think Derek's a good player, very underrated player in this league. But as you know, the Philadelphia fans are very tough on their players.
Yeah, time to time.
So I like Derek. But long story short, Haason Reddick goes to Arizona. He plays like middle backer and he fights through all that adversity. They move him to edge rusher. He tears it up, right? He comes to Carolina. He had a great year. That just shows his toughness, his resilience, all those things that go on. I want to touch on Haason as a human, like an unbelievable leader, someone that came into our team in Carolina and was, I mean, he beat the drum for us. I mean, he was our, flag carrier. He was the energy. He was the effort. He was the brand that Coach Rule's trying to do. He is that. He is involved in the community. He is everything you want as a teammate and a leader. I love playing with Haason. We will miss Haason in Carolina. Any team would be glad to have Haason Reddick on their team. Mm-hmm. As a player, and I've touched on a lot of different things, of course, like I always do, I'm on with Matt. The yard sale, they used to call me. So I as a player, you're getting premier talent, legit NFL defensive end, outside linebacker, whatever you want to call them, that can do everything, literally everything. That's what Haason can do. He's more comfortable on the edge. I know one point in time, Arizona, he was playing in the middle linebacker spot, and he wasn't as comfortable. I think that's not breaking news. But obviously a top sack numbers guy, which is great, but just production and pressures and how he complements other players and his energy and his leadership. You're getting a legit guy. I was sad when I saw he left, but I couldn't be, more happier for someone that's going to do great in the city of Camden, great in the city of Philadelphia, just be exactly what everybody wants Philadelphia to be, their pro athlete to be on and off the field. That's Haason Reddick. He's going to lean into everything because he knows what to lean into. We played at Temple. He's from Camden. He's played for great organizations in Arizona and Carolina. Now he's going to Philly. He's going to be an awesome addition for you guys. I should be his agent. I just sold him.
Yeah, really.
I had to face him every day for 5 years of my career. So
yeah, I was just going to ask you, like you being a tight end, him being either a defensive back, and then obviously being an edge rusher, being a outside linebacker. I'm sure you guys had your battles.
Yes, many battles. Relentless effort, physicality, toughness. I'm telling you, Mark, there's like everybody's gonna be wearing Reddick jerseys around Philly, and he's in the prime of his career. It's a perfect time. Everyone's like, that's an overpay or whatever that may be. Everything's an underpay with Haason. He's that type of guy. I mean, just to come back to Philly, I can't stress this enough for the fans of Philly, for the fans of Haason, for Temple football fans. It's an unbelievable thing. It's a win-win, especially at Temple's now on the turnaround with Coach Drayton. What an awesome thing. I've been able to be around there on a side note and get to know him and the staff a little bit. Things are going in the right direction, thankfully. And then him and Sean Bradley are two great players for the Eagles now. So, yeah, I'm jacked. I mean, I have no stories to tell of me and Haason button heads other than we did it a lot on the field, but off the field, you couldn't meet a better guy and a better leader. And just going to be huge on and off the field for the Philadelphia community.
Is he a trash talker at all?
Haason? Yeah. Haason. Yeah. Haason he will not take shit from anybody.
Okay. Great.
Every jersey is going to be walking around with the 43. I don't know what number he's going to wear, but yeah, Haason doesn't take shit from anybody. I guess I could tell a story. It happened in joint practice with the Colts.
Okay.
The first practice, we got pushed around a little bit, and I don't think we were happy about that. Not that they were doing anything too over the top, but it was really physical. And we were trying to be joint practice is tough. You don't want to hurt the other guys, but you want to play hard, especially for a guy like me on the bottom of the roster. You want to do well because you want to try to impress the Colts people too, right? Like every day's a tryout for the entire
putting good stuff on film. Yes,
correct. Because if you play well in the preseason games, everybody sees you. But say you sometimes are a better practice player than a preseason game player, right? Which maybe I would be because I'm not going to catch the ball, make 6 people miss, and go for 60. That's just not my game. But if you have 2 practices against a team, you get to show who you are. So that's a big stage for me against a team that needs guys like that are in my wheelhouse type players. So I'm jacked, and then Haason pretty much says this is not happening again. And he went off and had the practice of his life. I mean, he can flip a switch, and he plays with that switch all the time. Haason is just a leader. He's a legend. He's tough. I mean, like I said, it's my 5th time saying it. Philly, you really got a good one.
So with the joint practice with the Colts and everything, you guys went at it then pretty good?
Yeah, so I won't practice against Haason, but I feel bad for those tight ends for the Colts that had to face him because Haason didn't play in the preseason game. It was our first game. He's a starter, big signee, but there was a lot of fights that broke out. There was a lot of things that broke out, right? It's all public knowledge. The media is there covering it. I'm not telling anything that wasn't covered. But yeah, bites, toughness, no BS, zero BS from Haason. He sets it. He sets the tone. He's a tone setter. And you know, Philly, you're going to love him.
Obviously, you grew up an Eagles fan, right?
I did not.
You did not. Okay, what was the team you?
I grew up an Eagles supporter. I'll say this.
Okay, Eagles supporter. Okay.
I'm a diehard Flyers fan and fan of the Phillies and the Sixers, but really, Flyers are like my team. Like they're my team. I'm a big hockey player.
I'm sorry right now.
I want to play. No, it's okay. I'm happy, Mark. I'll be honest with you. And we'll go back to your question in a second. You're gonna have to re-ask it because I'm about to go off here on the Flyers for a minute.
The floor is yours, my friend.
Everything's okay. Everything's excellent. To quote my tight end coach, Brian Angelico, is now in Minnesota. Everything's excellent. This is what the franchise needed. This is what's needed, Mark. The team needed to go and take 10 steps backwards. They've been taking no steps backwards for years, for decades. The last time they went to the Cup, awesome. Ever since then, it's been the same thing. Middle draft pick in the first round. The same old story. Trade for a veteran at the deadline, make the playoffs, lose in the first round. Please continue to lose. I know it's bad. I know it sounds bad. I don't believe in it in football because football, you win 2-3 games in a row, boom, you're right back in the mix. In the NHL, what is happening right now, you need premier talent. You need speed. You need across the whole team. Look at these teams in the NHL. The Flyers, it's fine. They're okay. They have the goalie. You're set. You just need to take a step back, unload some big contracts. It's a 2-3 year rebuild. And then you know what? Because I'm a huge Giroux fan, he'll probably sign back to finish his career here, and he'll sign a minimum and play on the third, fourth line in the power play when the Flyers are ready in 2-3 years. It's kind of like Von Miller getting traded from Denver, getting them or whatever, second and a third. He wins a Super Bowl with the Rams, and who knows if he signs back with Denver. But that would be a similar situation. So that's my thought on the Flyers. I think it's a good thing. I'm not a tank guy. I don't believe in that. But for a team like the Flyers that have been stuck in the middle of the NHL for a really long time, middle to upper edge, it's time to take a step back, regroup. The Rangers did it a couple of years ago. They're one of the best teams in the NHL now. So I'm sorry, Mark. What was your original question? Oh, Eagles. So was I an Eagles fan? Was I an Eagles fan growing up?
But real quick. So you would trade Giroux at the deadline then. He'll play his 1,000th game as a Flyer on Thursday, and then after that you trade him.
I'd trade him, yeah. And
so would I, and I love the guy. Yeah, absolutely.
Love him. He's a legend. He's the most underrated Philly athlete of all time. It's an absolute crying shame. He didn't bring a cup, all that stuff. Listen, I get it. I understand it. But if you look at his numbers, I know numbers. I hear the whole thing. Numbers don't matter. If you look at his numbers, the numbers are crazy. He's in the top 5 since he's been in the league in every statistical category that you'd want your center and winger to be. If you move the winger before a little earlier, his career maybe even lasting longer. He hasn't lost a step. He's always kind of been this speed as he plays. It's not like he was Ovi or Crosby. He's in that next level of star.
Right.
So, yeah, I trade him, get a first round pick for him or a young stud.
Let's see that.
Yeah. To answer your question, this is great. This is great journalism. Take notes, Archbishop Wood alumni and Temple alumni. This is how it's done.
Yeah.
So just off the rails. So was I an Eagles fan growing up? No. And my family was, but I still supported the team, was around the team, and watched every game. Mm-hmm. The reason why I wasn't was because my mom went to Penridge High School. Her last name was Leahy before she married Thompson.
Okay.
And Tim Lewis sat behind my mom, and they became great friends. Tim Lewis went to Pitt, was an All-American at Pitt, was a first-round pick of the Green Bay Packers, got hurt on Monday Night Football, the one game she went to watch him play.
Oh, my goodness.
And Tim became a coach in the NFL. He was the defensive coordinator of the Steelers through the whole Bill Cowher time there, at least a good part of it with Joey Porter. So we went to Steelers games.
Okay.
And I got to meet all Jerome Bettis, Cordell Stewart, Joey Porter. That's as a kid who wants to play in the NFL. Come on. We weren't Eagles haters, but how can you turn that down? Then he goes to the Giants. All right. Then it's real getting dicey with the family there. But I'm a diehard Jeremy Shockey fan. So you get to meet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. He's the 80 in my email, the number 80. It's him.
Is he really? Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So I get to meet, Shockey. You get to meet Eli Manning and all these different guys that are awesome. So it was life-changing in that sense. We get to be around two teams that were really, moderately close to home you could drive to. And I saw the Giants parade, ticker tape parade in New York City, even though Tim wasn't there anymore. My mom's like, you want to play in the NFL? You need to vision this. You need to see this, put this on your vision board.
Wow. That's
cool.
Wow. That's cool.
And then the school district called her and said, this is not an acceptable thing to miss school for. Yeah. Good old Central Bucks.
Oh, good old CB, baby.
I love it. And they're not wrong. It wasn't an Eagles parade, right? But it was a Giants parade. So
gotcha.
An unbelievable experience. And, hopefully get to participate in that one day. So it's been a hell of a ride, Mark. It's been a hell of a journey.
This is way too personal a question. And I mean, for you and I alone, Nat's Pizza, you're a Nat's Pizza guy? Because I was huge Nat's Pizza guy. That place fed me more than my mom over a 10-year period.
Tremendous. We were at Bedresca's the other day. And, we had a great time traveling. We've had our honeymoon. We've had a couple of different things going on. So we're trying to watch our food a little bit, at this point. I'm starting to really train harder now. And I walk by Nat's. I'm like, man, I can't do it. I'm a Mesquite Grill guy right next door.
It's a great spot. Love that spot. Yeah. That was like an antique store. When I was like really little, that bar was an antique store. It was like the weirdest place in the world. But then it turned into Mesquite Grill, and then we went there, obviously. Tremendous. Colin, this has been so much fun. If you will, indulge me. Would you play Fast Five with us today?
Absolutely.
All right, let's bring in the band then, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what Colin Thompson has to say with Fast Five. Let me just tell the band just to quiet down for a second, as my friend Big Daddy Graham used to say. Here we go. Best job before this job.
Ticketing bras and panties in my mom's store.
I was hoping it would be lingerie related. That's
Mark,
phenomenal. Yes.
$4 an hour. And I would be like, Mom, why is it $4 an hour? She's like, because your lunch, your 4 Subway sandwiches cost $50.
My mom would pull that same thing. That's hilarious. Go-to fast food place. You might have just told me.
Chipotle. It's
okay.
I mean, it's not fast food, but it is. I have to be able to get like a good meal tangibly, like take that and take a nap. So yeah,
treat that burrito like one big sleeping pill. I'm with
Correct.
you. First date deal breaker. You're happily married, but first date, what would be a deal breaker for you in your dating days?
Wow. I mean, this is a tough one. I'm not doing well at these Fast Five.
I'm a journalist. I ask the tough questions.
All right. So I probably 10 seconds to answer this here.
Sure, why not?
Deal breaker. The deal breaker on the first date where you're like, no, I'm out. If they don't order a beer.
So craft of white wine, you're like, nope, you're out.
No, I'm kidding. I'm a beer. I'm kidding. My first day I met my wife though. She's like, do you want a beer? I'm like, can I marry you?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Better 5 seconds later, married. Yes.
Correct.
Favorite city to travel to?
Key West, Florida.
Ooh. Nice. That's nice. And then finally, in traffic, what makes Colin Thompson use his horn?
You know what drives me nuts? Nothing worse, guys. This is a public service announcement to everybody here listening. It is 2022. All of our cars are probably 10 years old, maybe a little older, right? Or brand new. If you're making a right turn, you don't need to turn left to turn right. The car will turn. We all have power steering now. This is in my dad's 1955, Chevy outside of Nat's Pizza and Ventresca's in Mesquite back in the day, and we had to wheel the thing, right? It just turns. You just need to move your wheel just a little bit. So that's my
coming into your lane to go back to theirs. Yeah, that's a great one. That one. You just hit a home run on the final one of Fast Five. That's the best one because no one has said that, and that's a brilliant answer, my friend. Colin Thompson, it was my absolute pleasure to finally get a chance to sit down and talk with you about football, your career, your former teammate, Haason Reddick, as well. And then obviously, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not doing it already, first off, shame on you. But second off, make sure you're following my man at Colin Thompson TU. And then make sure you also follow at Not For Long Media, at Not For Long Media, and check out all his podcasts wherever you guys get your podcasts. Colin, this was an absolute pleasure, brother. Thank you so much.
Dream come true, brother. 2 Wood guys, Temple. Great to be on.
My pleasure's all over here, my man. Make sure you're following him. And Colin, thanks so much for joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line.